looks like you got to go to some amazing places in Africa. I was having a little scroll through your Instagram earlier. In fact, I've got it here, and yeah, it was spectacular, I guess, and that's one advantage from some of these. I'm assuming largely it's come to be because of some of the shows that you've worked on.
Oh,
The
yeah.
travel, or you love travel, you just yourself anyway.
I mean, yeah, I do travel a lot anyway, but that's the one thing that's great about reality TV is like so much of it is shot overseas. So, Love Island UK has taken me to Cape Town as well as Spain. Love Island Australia was shot in Spain as well. I'm a Celeb. UK shoots out the Gold Coast. The Australian one shoots over in Africa. So yeah, it's great. We get to travel a lot. Yeah, that's that's Celeb in Africa.
I love
So
this one. Talk to me about your short films, because I haven't seen Hummingbirds yet, but I watched Growing Young and I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it, and I could see, like, looking at your website, and anybody wanting to check it out, it's Hayley Macfarlane, spelt with an MAC, Macfarlane .com. Is that right?
yeah, correct.
Just .com. Yeah. And you can go and have a look at some of the commercial work she's done, and then the narrative work, and see some of the shorts, and also on her Vimeo profile. So I watched Growing Young on Vimeo this morning, and thought it was great. I noticed that there were lots of investors listed on there, and quite a few organisations. So I'm always interested in finding out how people manage to pull these things together, because money is always a challenge, and particularly at the beginning phases. So how did you, I guess, get that all together? Were you responsible for, I guess, getting all those different organisations like the Alzheimer's trust or whatever, or organisation involved, or who coordinated that sort of side of things?
Yeah, so that was our first short film out of film school. So it was kind of the first time we were like, shit, how do we fund this? Like, how do we make a short film now? Like, we need to hire equipment, we need to like pay the crew something, we need to pay the actors. So it was sort of the first time we went down that road. And I had a producer that I worked with for all my content at film school, James Woods. He and I are close friends, and so he produced the short film for me. And basically, because the film is about dementia, we sort of thought, I wonder if we can get one of these organizations on board. They might be interested to help raise awareness. And they were really responsive. They were really helpful. They were really on board. They loved the script. And so they ended up funding some of their I guess like the money they had aside to help create awareness around dementia. They have a certain budget every year for that. So they were able to give us a little bit to help us sort of make the film. And then we sort of self-funded the rest of it, which is, I guess, what filmmakers do all the time. It's just part and parcel of trying to get short films made.
Yeah. So are you comfortable to share what the sort of budget was that you ended up working with?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always happy to talk about it. I'm just trying to remember because it was so long ago. I think it was like we shot it 6 years ago or something. I want to say it was maybe 15 grand. We did it for like nothing.
Yeah.
It was really low budget.
Was a lot of that the equipment side of things as opposed to wages?
Yeah, so we had we used my granddad's house, so we had 3 locations. We paid the actors. I think we paid them minimum wage, but we didn't pay them. And the crew, I think it was then just crew and sort of equipment. And everyone did it for like, next to nothing, which is the only way these things kind of get made is to have those, like, crew are amazing. Like, they're so supportive. Like, to have the grips and gaffers come out, give us a weekend for pretty much no money is something I'll always be grateful for.
Yeah, awesome. And is that the time span? You shot it all in one weekend?
I think so. I think it was a 2-day shoot from memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And how many of those people from, I guess, those early days have you continued to work with or reconnected with and worked with again down the line?
Um, yeah, it's a funny industry actually. People are sort of still around. I still work with a lot of the same people when I do commercials. But now moving into, obviously, reality is a whole different kettle of fish when it comes to crew. And then drama's the same. It's some people do cross over and do both, and that's great, and it's good to be able to do that. But then there's a lot of people that won't, because people that work in the commercial space, what they earn on a 2-day commercial, you know, will take them a week to earn on a drama. So sometimes, it's not smart for them to do long form. So that's sort of something that I've kind of learnt over the last few years. I wasn't really aware of the way the crews kind of work like that. But I always love to work with the same people if I can. It's nice to like come back together and you form a bit of a family, and also form a bit of trust. You want to be able to trust the crew that you're working with. So it's always
Yeah.
nice to use the same people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if it's just one of those stories that gets told, but I believe that Steven Spielberg has worked with the same people pretty much the whole way through. So you can imagine, I guess how much smoother that would help to make things run, because everybody does things in a certain way and a certain rhythm. So I guess having everybody knowing the nuances of that would be helpful, and having the comfort to know that people have got those sorts of things covered, particularly at a director level. I mean, I haven't directed anything yet besides my own commercial projects, and I don't know if you could call that directing. I mean, I got up to the lofty heights of being able to hire a couple of people to help with lighting and be a second camera, and had a grip slash sound guy, just before the whole coronavirus kind of came in and just smashed
Yeah.
things. And I was like, oh, okay, that's like I was like struggling for survival, like just a poor little like duck with a broken wing, for about a year. And then Corona just was like, boom. And in some ways, I was sort of almost grateful, because it was a big struggle already. So at least, and I was already working from home. So my wife and I, in some ways, feel like we just kind of rolled from one kind of strenuous situation into another. But since I've transitioned and started to focus on launching Flicks for Good, actually, it's been really exciting, and I've met some really great people. It's just trying to do it all by myself at the moment has been hard, but we'll get there. So let's talk about actually. Before we get into I guess transitioning to do feature, I do need to, especially for my wife and daughter's sake, spend a bit of time talking about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, because they love it, and I've got a bit like I hadn't watched a lot of it, and then because they were watching it all the time, and it's nice just to watch something together, then I was sort of I got into it. But I thought it was really, really well done. So congratulations on those. I believe you worked on series 3 and 5. Is that right?
Yeah, I've done 2 of the UK seasons and 2 of the Aussie seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. And looks like you got to go to some amazing places in Africa. I was having a little scroll through your Instagram earlier. In fact, I've got it here, and it was spectacular, I guess, and that's one advantage from some of these. I'm assuming largely it's come to be because of some of the shows that you've worked on.
Oh,
The
yeah.
travel, or you love travel, you just yourself anyway.
I mean, yeah, I do travel a lot anyway, but that's the one thing that's great about reality TV is like so much of it is shot overseas. So, Love Island UK has taken me to Cape Town as well as Spain. Love Island Australia was shot in Spain as well. I'm a Celeb. UK shoots out the Gold Coast. The Australian one shoots over in Africa. So yeah, it's great. We get to travel a lot. Yeah, that's that's Celeb in Africa.
I love
So
this one. I popped this onto the cover picture.
yeah.
That looks
Oh, it's
amazing.
stunning. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful location. It's really nice setup too with the crew. We basically have like an entire resort sort of thing to ourselves, and we have kind of self-contained houses on that show. So
Wow.
it's quite enjoyable, and sometimes you get stuck in shitty hotels, so it makes a difference when you're away for 2 months at a time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a
That's
real
amazing.
giraffe.
It's a real giraffe. Yeah. It's sort
What
of
the
a
heck? This is in someone's house.
yeah. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, I feel conflicted with that because it's beautiful, but it's
I know.
obviously, who knows. This is funny because and there are more, and I did include one. You might have noticed the handstands. So I was going through and I was like, oh, there's kind of a reoccurring theme. Here we go of these handstands, which I thought was particularly interesting because I had another show running. At one stage, I was running 5 different shows per week, so a different show each day. And needless to say, that was madness. And I just decided, okay, I'm going to pair it back to Filmmakers because I love filmmaking and it ties into what I'm looking to do with Flicks for Good, in that streaming space, of course. And then Change Makers because the ultimate goal of Flicks for Good is to raise money and awareness for different causes. And Mondays at Moss because that's just my local community. But I had another show going called Tangent Tuesday. And on Tangent Tuesday, I basically just interviewed people I found who I thought were kind of really interesting sort of characters. And I came across this girl, and she does all of these sort of handstand type things on the beach. So she does these beautiful pictures with like the sunrise coming up, and she's doing these crazy handstands. And she's got the handle gorilla puncher, which is just so odd because she looks, like a yoga fitness person. And then she's meanwhile she's a gorilla puncher. So now this here, was this I guess kind of where you were for Love Island?
Yeah, wow. So that was in Spain. I think I did the Aussie one and then I rolled straight into the UK one actually. That was I don't know, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. And you had your partner with you?
Yes and no. He doesn't generally come, but so we were actually at a wedding. This is so funny because Instagram literally it's a documentation of your life.
It is, yes.
So we were at a wedding in England. So I went straight to Spain. No, then I flew. Sorry, this was a wild time. So we had a wedding in London, and then we had to fly to New Zealand for a wedding, and then there was actually about 3 crew members at this wedding. And we had to leave at 5 a.m. and get on this 45-hour journey from New Zealand to Spain, all hungover from this wedding. It was an absolute nightmare. So he did end up coming over and sort of spending some time in Spain with me for that one. But generally he doesn't really come. It's boring for him because I'm working. He thinks I'm having fun all the time. But actually what he learned is that I work most days. It's we do 6-day weeks when we're away, so it's not always as fun as it looks.
No, and probably there'd be 10, 12-hour days. Like what kind of days were you doing?
We're pretty lucky as directors. We generally stick to a 10-hour day. The producers have it a bit rough. They do much longer hours than we do, but we 10-hour days for us. Yeah,
nice. And it looks like you get to do a little bit of sightseeing while you're there. Do they incorporate any
zebras?
Of that?
Yeah, they were zebras. They're literally out the front of our room where we stayed for Survival of the Fittest.
Amazing. That's
so UK show, that we that one we shot in 3 weeks and we didn't have a day off. We all just worked 3.5 weeks straight.
3.5 weeks straight. Wow. Yeah. No, it's pretty awesome. What's been your favourite location so far that you've been to?
Good question. I don't know. Probably I just love Africa. I'm mad for it. I've been there 6 years in a row and I just can't get enough of it. So I would probably say, Africa.
Nice. I did notice actually somewhere back here. I feel like we're just like prying into your private life here, but did you get engaged and married in the recent years?
Yeah, actually, it's my 1 year wedding anniversary next weekend.
Next weekend. Oh, congratulations!
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw it looked like a proposal picture. I may have missed it.
Yeah, you were on it.
Top.
It's
Oh, there.
he
Yeah.
proposed in Malta on the
Wow.
cliffs.
That looks amazing. Good job.
Yeah.
And he looks like a bit of a character.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, which is good. I like that sort of thing.